All right. So give it a couple of minutes and we'll start. All righty. Boo. As I came on here with untamed hair. It's whatever. All right. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Update me. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Pretty good. Still kind of tired though.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level of tired that I got going on here. So I understand. So I let me tell you something. Exhausted and exhaustion are real. As real as it can get. So yeah, I want you guys to try to pace yourself. I promise. So what I have been doing is that in my classes, I try to wrap things up after 20, 25 minutes and not 30, because 20 minutes is excessive. Okay. Just for, especially for college age students, it can be a lot. So I try not to bore you guys to death. Or you could just talk to me through the chat. That's fine. Yeah. So it's exhausting times. So let's hope that as we start to begin the phase of going back into the classroom, hopefully we're not as tired and we can manage our time better. We get some me time in there. So just make sure you do that. Just make sure you get some you time, me time. Okay. And just pace yourself. What I do is that I just everything. Okay, so I ain't gonna scare y'all, but I have like to-do lists on top of to-do lists on top of to-do lists. And like right here on my desk when I'm home, there's like to-do lists in front of that. And it might be excessive, but it just makes sure it keeps me on task. It just makes, yeah, make sure, and I don't scratch it off until it's done. So a little life tip for you. So Cash App, come never. So, but basically, we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the last few parts of learning module 2. Um, I did put in the announcements. If you didn't see the announcements, let me know about midterms. Okay. Your midterm grades are due on the 15th of March at noon. Now, I won't be available at all. And what I mean by won't be available at all, meaning there will be no lecture next Monday. So sleep in, do what you need to do. If you stayed up the night before trying to do all your work, get some sleep on Monday, next Monday. But I will turn in grades to the university around that time, around 1 o'clock. And then I won't be available for the rest of the day. I don't know what that schedule is like, how long it takes for grades to become available. I don't know, but just want to keep you guys transparent. I will kind of post everything as far as what needs to be completed, and I'll do kind of like I'll put the points. I won't put the total points until the end of the year when we have to turn in a final grade. But what I'll do the breakdown again, probably maybe Thursday, just to show you the points that you need to get for an ideal grade at midterm, and taking consideration of the points that you have at that point. All right. So that's just how we'll go about it. That way it's just easier for you. So without further ado, I never know how to say it. Further ado, without waiting anymore. Okay. Especially, I got to try to I get my hair braided. So, and it won't be during class time, let me tell y'all. And I want to thank you guys for being patient with me. I did have an appointment that I did have to tend to, but it totally overlapped with class. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I feel like that ever since we've been home, the appointment times have been off the hook, like just smack in the middle of the day. People have been taking advantage of the fact that we're home. So, yeah. So if you have any questions about midterms, just please do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you have questions about assignments, if you need more time, and I mean, when you need more, if you think you need more time, email me or message me through the Remind app and let me know I need a little bit more time with the class. So, yeah. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the last few parts of learning module 2. All right. I hope that the videos I posted and the learning guide that I posted as I'm getting ready to set up to share my screen, I hope that they were helpful to you. How many of us watched the video with Ernestine Shepherd? Y'all ain't got to lie to me. Y'all can be honest with me. You can tell me no. I won't be offended. I'm going to leave it up there. But how many of you guys I did? Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm not offended. I know that the last thing, if y'all like me, if it ain't got no relevance to the assignment, I ain't doing it. Okay. That's me. So I totally understand. Like if you're like, nah, I ain't doing it. So, but I definitely, I put that up there because oftentimes what we do, because sometimes I do it too, is that sometimes we discount someone where we get an actual chronological age in our faces, and they're like, oh yeah, 83, we're going to expect this person to be, have the hunchback, the gray hair, just missing teeth or dentures, just, really in a bad physical shape, right? But Ernestine Shepherd, and we'll talk about physical aging in a second, or primary and secondary aging. But Ernestine Shepherd, she's healthier than most of us. Okay. She still maintains a 1700 calorie diet. She runs every day. I looked at another video where this woman's breakfast is freaking almonds and egg whites. Okay. What did you have for breakfast? I ain't gonna lie to you. The other day I had a Bojangles biscuit. I drove to for sales and got a Bojangles biscuit. But this woman, she eats egg whites and almonds every day, and runs every day. Like a healthy lifestyle is it for her. So, just things to be mindful of, that, just because someone is chronologically older does not discount them from being, if they may not have any physical limitations. There's a woman, I believe she might be in her 70s now, or late 70s, and they are out of Miami, Florida. Her and her husband are contrast night and day different. Her husband used to own a meat market, and he has every metabolic disease that you could think of. Okay, they're about the same age. The wife, she is on a raw vegan diet, like meaning everything is vegetable based for sure and not cooked. And she looks like she could be easily in her late 30s. Okay, so those are just things to just be mindful of when we are working with our clients, when we're working with students, when we're working with athletes. We just always have to be mindful of, the differences that are going on with ages. All right. So just because someone is in their 50s, that does not mean that I'm not, able to do certain things. All right. For now, I'll give you another example. How many of you guys may have heard of this man? I hope you heard of this man. I used to love this man growing up because he used to be so fine. And this man got finer the older he got, and he just turned 50. Method Man. How many of y'all ever heard of the rapper Method Man? Please say yes. Don't make me feel old. How many of us heard of Method Man? Oh, I'm scared. Whoo! Thank God. Come on, Nicole. I think I have. I'll let y'all YouTube him later, okay? Y'all, Method Man. I used to love him when I was, yes, How High. Yes, thank you. The dude from How High. That's him. So had to make sure, but I used to love him growing up. I used to love Method Man and Red Man when I was growing up. Red Man still looked crazy, but Method Man, he got fine. Oh man, he is in the best physical shape of his life. And this man just turned 50. So, like I said, we don't want to think of, oh man, this person is like 50 in their 60s. They could be in their best physical condition. And it's all about a few things that we're getting ready to talk about, right? So let's talk about nature versus nurture. Okay. So, in me asking that question, how many of you guys think that a lot of these basketball players, do you think that their talent is hereditary? Or do you guys think that their talent is uh, was based off of good old fashioned good training at home? What y'all think? And y'all can let me know in the chat. Do y'all think that, I'm just gonna say Chris Paul? Okay, do you think his ability was genetics, or do you think that he just got good coaching, good training, and had a good support system? Okay. Okay. So do you find, I got both. So do you guys find it important with your, okay. Okay, I say both. So do you guys find it important to know the household makeup of your student athlete, and for them to be able to achieve certain athletic goals? So like if you are a basketball coach or a track coach, do you think like getting to know what's going on in their household is important? Like just what's going on in their house? How important would you say that is on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being not important, 10 being extremely important. What do you think? How important? It depends. Okay, Kennedy, I'm gonna allow you to mute yourself and elaborate on what you mean by it depends. Let me do this. 7, 8. I know it's important, but to an extent. Okay. So it is important. I agree. I can agree with you guys. And that's the thing about motor learning development. It's so theory based that it does depend. Okay. So you do have, let's say, for example, I'll use a good one. I'll use a good one that may be a little different. Let's say Simone Biles. We've all heard of Simone Biles, right? Most decorated gymnast to date. Okay. We've heard of her. All right. But you guys know her backstory, right? Her backstory is that, she really kind of grew up in a kind of a not so stable home environment. And She was adopted by, her grandfather and, her step grandmother. Um, and basically now here she is. Now they're trying to find the girl because basically all the moves that she's doing can't nobody else do, which is stupid. But you want to think about her. Like, do you think it was genetics that helped her get to where she is? While you guys answering that question, I'm gonna help somebody get in here. Sorry, trying to make sure a student gets in here. Okay. I think it helped her a lot. Okay. So let me ask you this. So you do realize that a nurturing environment doesn't always have to be at home. It could be you as the teacher. Okay. It could be you as the coach. It could be you as a patient. It just depends on the environment of that wherever that person is located. So tell me, in what ways do you think, as you being a professional, what is one way that you think you can encourage a healthy environment? Tell me something. Let's say I've given you a future track athlete, a future patient. If you're going to physical therapy, a patient who may have had a stroke and is relearning how to walk again. Like, what are some of the things that you would tell somebody that would encourage a healthy environment to be able to thrive and grow, as far as relearning a skill or learning a skill? What do you think? Or think about a time where someone, a physical therapist, even a nurse practitioner, nurse, whomever, think about something someone said to you that really encouraged you to live or have or maintain a healthy environment. Think of one thing that was encouraging, and let me see. So, like I said, think hard. Don't think too hard, but think hard and think of one time where you had a word of encouragement that really encouraged you to have a healthy environment that is conducive for your growth. And then, like I said, let me know in the chat. That way, like I said, think hard, but don't think too hard. It could be a coach just giving you like maybe a motivational tool to encourage you to be healthy. Anything. Like I said, that way I know you guys are alive. Anything. No, you guys never were told. And you could say, no, I never had a healthy comment made to me before. You can say that. So let's talk about a little bit about genetics, right? So how crazy is genetics that as far as like ability, athletic ability, or even academic ability, it could just totally skip around and skip people. All right. So that's the interesting thing about nature versus nurture, or nature nurture. Okay. A student can grow in their environment athletically, just by, simply either being genetically inclined or being in a good environment. Okay. You're right. Both, it can happen in both. Okay. A student, you might have a child who, you might, with you being a future teacher or PE teacher or coach, whatever the case may be, you might have a child who is tall. All right. Then you have your parent teacher conference and the parents are tall. So, at that point, you might be able to really understand it. Okay, well, this is where the ability comes from because they're tall, or let's say you got a basketball athlete, a women's basketball athlete who, is really good and being able to pick up those skills. And then you meet with the mother, and the mother played basketball in college. So those are just things to just be mindful of. In addition to that mother, playing basketball in college, the mother is still playing basketball now. The daughter still sees the mother being active and playing basketball. So those are things to just be mindful of when you're working with future students, when you're working with patients. Okay, you always want to think about everybody. We've all heard of the term crabs in a barrel, right? Guys, a little bit of the same thing. A little bit of the same thing. crabs in a barrel is a little negative, but still, even then, we're all gonna be we're all going to respond to how our environment kind of set us up. Okay. So and and that can speak to so many different levels outside of athleticism and motor development and learning sometimes. And knowing that we all identify as beautiful kings and queens, Black Americans, right? And so sometimes, depending on the obstacles that we face, we've learned to adapt because of the environments that we've come through or been subjected to. Okay, I'll give you one for example. I'll be transparent. I came from a family that we've always basically we just always worked ourselves silly, and that was it. We just, what the term is, pay taxes and die. That was kind of what we did. It was a little bit out of the norm for anybody in our family to really achieve things like home ownership or being able to attain, degrees past really a bachelor's at one point. So thankfully, because we've all been in environments, we've changed our environment a little bit. And decided to get into a healthy environment. And there's some of us that have masters, and me being the first to really work on a doctorate. So thinking about your environment is very important. And it's important for you guys as students to make sure that you're in a good, nurturing environment, not only just for this class, but in life in general. Okay. Can't achieve your goals and you're in a bad environment. So that's just the FYI. That's my second tip, life tip for the day. Cash App name never. All right. So in chapter 10, what it does is it talks about primary aging and physical aging. Primary aging and secondary aging, not, yeah. So primary aging being in terms of, okay, well, what are some of the things that we obviously know that this person is older? Okay. One of the ways of primary aging, y'all can't see it, but I got gray. Okay. So that is, the obvious prime form of primary aging that we can understand. Okay. Like I said earlier, you don't want to assume because I might have gray and you might be like, oh yeah, this person is just so old, but they could be young. I actually started going gray at 20. So I just cover it up real good. Been doing it pretty good so far, but those are just things to be mindful of with primary aging. Now, your secondary aging really covers the diseases that take over, that really have a person and you're looking at them and you're like, okay, they're a little bit older. One of those things being type 2 diabetes. Oftentimes, and I will say this, probably about 25 years ago, type 2 diabetes was a metabolic disease that was primarily for everybody 40 up, 40 or 45 up. Okay. But now type 2 diabetes is hitting you guys' age group. Okay. I know a few young people. I actually know someone who got type 2 diabetes as young as 16. Okay. So this is a problem. Now, asking you guys, since you guys are the health experts, right? I got 10 minutes. So since you guys are the health experts, tell me, what do you think are some of the causes as to why kids as young as 16 are getting type 2 diabetes? Let me know in the chat. Like I said, that way I know you guys are alive. What do you think are some of the reasons why type 2 diabetes is hitting kids now? Let me know. Like I said, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Do I need to repeat it? What do you think are some of the things that are causing kids to get type 2 diabetes, a metabolic disease that was happening for people in their 40s? Let me know. Like I said, I'm watching the chat, making sure y'all not asleep. What are some of the things that are causing people to get, just think about it. What are the things, like, I mean, the obvious one being everything got sugar in it. So that's the first thing. That's one thing. Give me another one. What are you thinking are causing some of these kids to get type 2 diabetes so soon? What are we doing all day? Sitting around, poor diet. Same thing. And Brianna, I'm so glad you said that. You hit on a point. That goes back to the previous chapter with nature, nurture. If the parents are doing it, Them kids will do it. Thank you for bringing that up. Lack of exercise. So, how important is nature nurture, especially in the prevention of certain metabolic diseases? If the kids don't see it, if the kids don't see you exercising, if the kids don't see you eating good, they not gonna do it. Okay, I was guilty because I come from a family who loves sweets, so grew up it was cakes, pies, all the other stuff. But then I said, no, I can't do this. I gotta have my teeth. I gotta keep my teeth. And I got family members that got rotten teeth because they eat sweets all day. Okay. Hypertension is the same thing, or high blood pressure is the same thing. So think about that. But like I said, if the kids see the parents doing it, high chance that the kids will do it too. So those are just things to be mindful of, and that can impact how we age, right? That can really impact how we age. All right. So I'm trying to age. I'm trying to age like well, shoot, I'm trying to age like Cicely Tyson because she looked good for 96. So when she went to heaven, man, oh man, she looked good for 96. Okay. That's the type of aging I'm trying to do. All right. So I learned from a movie that black don't crack unless you smoke it. All right. So I am not trying to crack all this. So I'm trying to keep a healthy environment. So those are really the things to just be mindful of in terms of trying to age like, hello, I'm trying to age gracefully. Okay. So, one of the things that I encourage you guys to do, that's why I said earlier, make sure you get some rest. I don't want y'all stressing. For real. I don't want y'all stressing. I want you guys to relax a little bit. Now, do I know that this is a stressful time? Very much so. Been a stressful time for a year now. But I want you guys to find some time in your schedule where you could take a break. Okay. Give yourself a break. Even if it's after this, give yourself about 5 minutes. All right, I'm gonna take a walk, or I'm gonna stretch, or I'm gonna get a nap. Okay. So definitely take some time for yourself because, like Brianna said, we out here trying to age like fine wine. Ain't nobody we trying to get better with age. Okay. We're not trying to be out here tasting like dirt water. Okay. We trying to have the finest wine in our cup when we get age. Okay. So, but those are things to just be mindful of, that there are differences in terms of your primary aging and your secondary aging. Okay. Metabolic diseases are really taking a toll. And on top of that, they're reaching kids at younger ages. So, those are just things to be mindful of as as a future teacher, as a future PT, OT. You always want to get them or encourage them to get in a good environment that's conducive and helpful to them basically aging well, right? So, and there are other diseases and things to consider, like osteoarthritis, kyphosis, which is generally breakdown in bone mineral or bone density. Okay, so that unfortunately is one of those things that is going to happen. All right, so that's the reason why it's so important that we make sure that we keep kind of like a nutritionally sound diet, making sure it's filled with the elements that helps our bones. So when things like osteoporosis, osteoarthritis come about, our bones have somewhat of a support system, but also making sure you're doing some strength training too that serves as a benefit to help with your bones. Okay, so that's what just basically kind of your secondary aging is just as a change in all of your systems. All right, so when you get a chance, make sure you take a look into your book to see which systems are greatly impacted by someone who is in their 50s and 60s, and the things to be mindful of. Okay, like your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your nervous system. All of those systems are going to be impacted to some degree by us getting older. But it's so important for us to really adapt healthy habits to keep it going, to keep it moving, keep it pushing. I actually heard something from my mom was telling me that a physician told somebody else that, the body is just automatically going to start breaking down at 80. And I'm like, yeah, right. We're not doing that. Okay. So, now what I'm going to do real quick is that as you are teaching your students, I want you to be mindful of 4 different stages of development and learning. Once I can get a hold of my screen. And I found an image that is very helpful for you guys just to understand. It can be a little boring, but it's good for you to understand that, as we age, it's a process. Like we're constantly always learning. Our brain is always constantly developing, especially in the younger kid age. How many of us, and you can let me know in the chat, how many of us want to work with kids under 11? I'm just going to say work with kids under 11. How many of you guys want to work with kids under 11? Don't be shy. Like I said, I ain't gonna sit in there and be like, no, you gotta work with kids that are under. No, you don't have to. Okay. How many of us want to work with little kids? Let me know. So when I do finally have kids, y'all ain't gonna babysit my kids. I'm kidding. I kid. All right. So there's a cognitive theory that helps with understanding simple psychology as far as development is concerned. Okay, it can happen in 4 stages, and it's broken down into your sensory motor, your pre-operational, concrete operational, and your formal operations. All right, so when we think of formal operations, just in terms of your 11-year-olds and up, I actually was watching this video where this woman basically said eighth graders are the most ugliest little things. And I thought it was funny. I came out of, thinking of it from a negative standpoint. And essentially she's right, because that is probably that is the time frame of a middle schooler's life where they're starting to really develop skills, and they're really starting to think things, and they're really starting to have a little logic and a little reasoning as to why they do this and why they do that. And I mean, and it's a rough looking process. Think about how you looked in the eighth grade. I ain't gonna tell you no word of a lie. Okay, I had braces. This this was, let me see, I was in the eighth grade in 1998. Was it 1998? No, 97, 98. 97, 98, I was in the eighth grade. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with finger waves. Oh man. So my hair was much, much longer, and I cut it because, again, that development of the abstract logic and reasoning, I had to be cute. So with me having to be cute, I had to get the finger waves, but my hair wasn't cut short enough, and I tried to get the girl to do the finger waves. It was bad. I looked horrible. Okay. So that's kind of your formal operations. Like you start to develop some logic to certain things. And this is an important time in terms of how you train your athletes and how you coach your athletes, just knowing what phase of their learning and development they are in, so they can understand, being able to kind of refine different movements or practice different movements, or they can learn the importance of practice. They can learn, the importance of motivation. All right. They can learn what arousal is, or what arouses them to get excited to be able to perform a particular sport. Okay, but your sensory motor, okay, those are the babies. Those are the little babies, all right? They basically are learning, and they're curious about the world. That's the reason why you might have seen like different things that have gone on in like maybe a younger child's life, where younger child, unfortunately, you might hear about abuse in the home, because oftentimes how a child learns how to respond to certain things, they learn it directly within their household. Okay. So those are just things to just be mindful of. If you are going to work with little ones, it's very important to understand these developmental phases. And those developmental phases can essentially help you maybe address some things that are going on in the household, but also address some neurological issues that are going on, maybe address some physical limitations that are going on. All right. So it's very important that you understand these theories. But like I said in the beginning, motor learning and development is nothing but a big old ball of theory anyway. Hence why you guys get short answer tests and not no true false. Every now and again, I might do true false. So do I have any questions? Like I said, I think I may have bored y'all enough with my bushy hair. Okay. So any questions, comments, concerns? How are y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Wrapping up learning module 2. Like I said, I need to know now, just so y'all can let me know in the chat to make sure you guys are good. Making sure you're feeling comfortable with doing these assignments. I want to make sure you guys are not stressing over these assignments. But I mean, yes, they still got to get done. But I don't want y'all to feel like, oh my God, I'm about to fail this course. The only way you can fail this course is if you absolutely, positively 1000% don't do a thing. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns, praises, anything? Anything. And you can let me know yes, no. I don't know where you guys are located, but today is a good day to take a walk. I'm in Lexington. It is absolutely nice out here. So what I'm going to do from just sitting at the desk for about 3-4 hours, I'm going to take a walk. And you should too. Any questions, comments, concerns? If none, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start grading, just so y'all know what y'all going into for midterms. I'm going to start grading on Thursday. And what I'm going to do is that in the announcements, I'm going to put kind of like a list of what your points to add up to get something ideal that you want to see on your midterm grade. And you're just going to compare that to your own points on Blackboard. All right. Make sure you get on Blackboard. I know a lot of you guys are using Blackboard through your phone. Please get on Blackboard on a desktop or a laptop just so you can get an accurate reading. If you can't do that, it's all right. Definitely, hold on. Let me do this for you. Real quick. If you cannot get on Blackboard through a desktop or a laptop, give me 1 second. I'm going to get you my Calendly link. That way, if you need to schedule a meeting with me because I don't want y'all to go into thinking that you're about to fail this course, all right? So make sure you put this I put it in the chat. Make sure that you copy, paste, save this link. If you have any questions and you're not able to get into Blackboard to see what your points are, all right? Make an appointment. Do not wait, okay? So if you have any questions about your grade and your progress. Cool beans, thumbs up, smiles, let me know you guys are good. Like I said, I got to check on y'all, make sure y'all still alive, because it's nice out. It's easy to just be like, oh my God. Or it's easy to just be on your phone. Let me know in the chat that you guys are good. No, y'all not good. I know I'm also having some Wi-Fi's. My Wi-Fi is slow. Okay. Oh, thank you, Brianna. See, I know Brianna is still here. So, all right. Thank you, Ja. So, bet. So I will end it here. You guys make sure you get out and enjoy this wonderful, fantastic sun. Remember, there is no lecture next Monday. So sleep in, maybe get some rest if you need to. All right. I will chat with you guys soon. Peace.